Hi guys, welcome back. Today's prompt is going to be more of an outline for when you guys are experiencing a strong or overwhelming emotion and you want more of a step-by-step kind of guideline to overcome it, but also feel it, accept it, express it, all of those things. So the prompt today is called Ride the Wave, and the wave is going to be whatever the emotion is that we're experiencing. So if you have a particular emotion that you experience in your day-to-day life, you can kind of base this off of that, or you can make it more general, depending on if this is something you want to use today or this is something you want to use in the future. But anyways, the first thing that I want you guys to do is draw a large wave of your choice. This is kind of how I drew mine. So take a second now just to kind of draw the wave. Picture it as a wave of emotion, so you can base your color on the emotion if you like, or you can just do it blue like a typical wave. The choice is up to you guys, but take a second here to do that now, and then we will come back and we'll start writing out the steps. All right, now before we get into the wave, I want you guys to think about feelings that you feel more often than others. Often these are more negative feelings, such as anxiety, stress, anger, loneliness, sadness, especially during this quarantine and COVID and all of that stuff. What are some of the emotions that you guys have been experiencing that you may need a little bit of support to kind of find your way over? So think about what emotions those might be, and I want you to just take a second and to write them down somewhere on your page. I'm going to probably write mine just over here. Again, it can be one thing, it can be 10 things, however many kind of emotions come to mind that you have difficulty working your way through. So take a second now just to write those down, and then we'll come back. Okay, so now we're going to go through a few steps to kind of help you recognize your emotions and work your way to kind of cope with them. And we'll write down the steps together, and then I'll give you guys a chance to kind of fill them in based on the emotions that you feel more often. And again, this can be as specific or as general as you like. This is kind of just a tool that I like to use when I'm feeling certain ways, so thought I would share it with you guys. Okay, so for our first step, I'm going to write it near the bottom of the wave, and then I'm going to make my way up to the last step. So we'll start with our first step, and that is to recognize and acknowledge the emotion that you're feeling. Okay, so I'm going to write down, actually I'll write this one. So my step 1 is to recognize and acknowledge my feelings. Okay, so something like that. So I wrote recognize and acknowledge my feeling or feelings, depending on how many are going on at once. For a lot of feelings like anxiety, you have other things that come along with it, such as stress, fear, uncertainty. So typically one feeling is accompanied by multiple other feelings, and that's totally normal to kind of be overwhelmed by this multitude of things going on, which is kind of what makes it so stressful. So now what I want you guys to do is I want you to just think, we'll pretend that we're doing this, or we'll do this right now with how you're feeling. Or you can think back to the last time that you were feeling uneasy in some way. And I want you just to write down, what am I feeling? So am I feeling anxious? Am I feeling great? Am I feeling sad, lonely? What is it that you're feeling? So you can choose to do this as you're feeling now, or you can choose to do this going back to a time when you were feeling a certain way. Totally up to you. I'm going to go back to a time when I was feeling maybe anxious, and so I'm just going to write down as simple as that. I am feeling anxious or stressed because of this. Again, however specific you want to be, okay? So take a second now just to kind of write what the feeling is, and then we'll go on from there. All right, so the second step is to understand why you are feeling that way, okay? So I'm just gonna write step 2 above, understand I'll write understand why. Okay? Understand why. So what is it that started the feelings? What were the triggers? Why are you feeling the specific way? So again, I'm going to give you a second. Take some time to write down those reasons. Okay, so the next step, which I think is probably one of the most important steps, and also a step that isn't, I don't know, it's not practiced very often, I find, and that's to accept the feelings that you're going through. So if you're feeling sad, or you're feeling stressed or anxious or angry or whatever that is, I think it's important to understand that it's okay to feel that way. These emotions are not fun to feel, but they are normal to feel, and they are healthy to feel. We all have these various emotions that we feel. I mean, there's certain extents of these emotions that, you know, if you're feeling this way for too long, then maybe it's not healthy, but it's okay to feel not okay. And so for our third step, I'm going to write number 3, and I'm just going to write accept or accept the feeling. For acceptance. Okay, so whatever it is that you're feeling, I want you to be able to tell yourself, like, it's okay that I'm not feeling great. It's okay that I'm feeling lonely. It's okay that I'm feeling sad. Like, these are the reasons that I'm feeling that way. And it's important to kind of have reasons behind why you're feeling that way, and that's why we kind of do the why beforehand. But it's okay to feel that way, and then after we've accepted that, we can kind of move towards ways of coping with those feelings. So underneath acceptance or accept the feeling, I want you just to write down, it's okay to feel, and whatever that feeling is. Or it's okay to not feel okay, something like that. Some sort of words of acceptance towards not feeling the best, because once we accept that, we can kind of move forward and find ways to help ourselves to feel better. Okay, so let's do that now. And I just also wanted to add, before we move on to the last step, that often accepting the emotion that you're feeling and acknowledging it and being okay with it is a key part of what helps you seek help for it afterwards, or seek support and kind of move on from it. So it is personally an important step. Maybe other people don't feel the same way, and that's fine. But yeah, so moving on to the last step, and that is to experience your emotion and cope with it. Okay, so I'm going to write my 4th step at the top here. So we don't want to accept these feelings and then bottle them in, and we don't want to ignore them. We want to, again, just understand that they're there. This is what I'm feeling. This is why I'm feeling that way. It's okay that I'm not feeling the best, but now what can I do to overcome that? So experience and cope is our last step, and I want you to write in some sense, like, I'm feeling this way, therefore I need to blank. Or you can just write down coping strategies you typically use for this particular feeling. So for example, when I'm feeling anxious, I can go for a walk, have some hot tea, listen to music, whatever those things might be for you. So take a second now to think of some of those things that you might do to cope with your emotions. And then write those down and we'll come back. All right, so now I'm just gonna go through it from step 1 through step 4 with you guys, and you guys can go through kind of what you wrote as well. So we'll go through it together. So step 1, recognize and acknowledge my feelings. So I picked anxiety because that's often kind of the first feeling I get that stems into other things. So recognize the feeling. I'm feeling anxious. Step 2, understand why I'm feeling anxious. Often there's a lack of control. I'm very introverted, so maybe I was feeling out of my comfort zone. Fear of what other people think, having a lack of confidence, any of those reasons. So understanding those reasons why, and acknowledging that. Accepting that that's okay and not being too hard on yourself. So for me, I wrote, it's okay to not be okay. You could have wrote, it's okay to feel whatever way it is that you're feeling. But it's normal and it's fine and you're gonna make it through. You're gonna have a positive outlook and you're gonna be kind to yourself, because a lot of the times we get even more down on ourselves for feeling a certain way. Like it's a bad feeling, and even though it doesn't feel great, it's not bad to feel all of our emotions. And then moving on to experiencing and coping our emotions. So you're experiencing all these things, you know what you're feeling, you know why you're feeling it. So now what do you need to do? So I've got things like go outside, talk to a friend, listen to music, be present. And by be present, I mean feel your feelings and kind of know what you're doing to help yourself feel better, but don't avoid it. Practice mindfulness. I find that spending some time just being quiet and with my thoughts, that's helpful to me. Giving yourself a positive pep talk, and just be kind to yourself, okay? So just like that, we've made it up and over top of the wave, and hopefully with these coping mechanisms, you can make it over and you'll feel fine and like yourself again. But it does take time and it takes patience. But yeah, these are just kind of the steps to get there. So if you want to color in your wave, you're welcome to take a few minutes now to add colors and kind of let the creativity come out here. I know this was a little bit more of a writing, talking video, which is maybe not as fun. But yeah, take some time now to add your colors if you'd like. If you're done, that's fine too. I'm gonna color mine with you guys and then we'll come back to close. Alright, so I'm all colored in. I've got a nice sunny day awaiting me once I come over top of my wave. I hope you guys enjoyed this prompt. I know it was, like I was saying earlier, it was a little bit more discussion and writing, but I think it's an important topic to cover. So yeah, that's everything for today, you guys. I will see you again on Wednesday. Have a wonderful beginning of your week, and yeah.